What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the Nerdwide podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Haynes, with my good friend and co-host, Mr. Chris Rivers. Now, Chris, I know it's been a good week for you because you've been off for 4 days for the holidays. Now, how's it really been?
It's been pretty good. Yeah, I got not this next weekend, but the next will be another 4-day break 'cause I took
Oh,
off so we could go check out Black Panther,
I'm so excited.
and so that'll be a nice break. And then we got Thanksgiving coming up, and then
Mm-hmm.
Christmas coming up, and
Then New Year's and just so forth and
yeah,
so on. I can't wait.
a lot of long weekends too. We had a nice time last night as well.
Mm.
At you and Jamie threw a Halloween party, so
Annual Halloween party. Yeah, the the rest of the guests did not leave till like 12:30 last night,
really,
and I was exhausted. I mean, you could probably I didn't sleep well last night either, so I'm like running on like 4 or 5 hours of sleep, but
hmm
it was a good time. So,
you want to show off the hair for the
oh yeah,
podcast?
I can. It's definitely blue.
A little bit.
Tomorrow's gonna be fun at work. So,
And not because you're a Titans fan.
no, no. Even though the game, the game's not even over yet, and they're winning though. So,
Yeah.
but Steelers lost, so is what it is at this point. Oh man, but yes, let's get it. We've got a lot to talk about. I'm really excited because we finally have our DC Kevin Feige, and we've been talking
Mhm.
about that all year long. I feel like, if not 2 years long at this point. We got
And you
some
know
new trailers. That's gonna be so much fun.
the thing about it is, if you go back and look at when we first started talking about it, if they had just made that move then,
Yeah, Hey, it's
saved a lot of
yeah.
time.
It's not like we didn't call it or anything. So I'm expecting my paycheck for consolation fee for
Oh,
finder's fee kind of thing.
we called half of it.
Yeah,
That's
that's a good point. That's probably where
that
they're like,
counts.
we can't pay them because we did two and not one. So,
Yeah.
quick housekeeping before we jump into the show. Don't forget to subscribe to either our YouTube or our podcasting service of your choice. If you enjoy the show, make sure you leave us a thumbs up on YouTube or give us a good rating on whatever podcasting app you use. If you don't enjoy what you see or hear, make sure you leave us a comment. Let us know how we can improve the show and what you did not like. If you want to do more, you can always go to patreon.com/nerdwide. 3 different tiers for 3 different monetary values, where you can do all sorts of different little goodies on each different tier if you want to go that way. Chris, you been watching any other TV this week?
Um, Only Harley Quinn and the first episode to this season's American Horror Story.
What do you think so far?
I like it. I'm probably gonna have to watch. I think Jamie said it really picks up second or third episode.
Mm,
Um, so I'll probably have to get that far in before it hooks me. But I like what they're doing to lay the foundation so far.
mm. I'm gonna trust y'all's opinion because I'm just gonna let that one there. As far as me, I haven't watched anything. Like it's been still readjusting to working out of the office at the hospital and getting that schedule adjusted. But I mean, other than Harley Quinn, which I've really enjoyed watching it, nothing really else going on. None of you other movies. I'll watch some Halloween Towns, but that's nothing crazy.
I will say I liked the second half of the first season of Harley Quinn better than the first.
Which is crazy because we're both really high on Harley Quinn. So let's jump right into that one with our Harley Quinn season one. Of course, all spoilers all the time for this one as we watch it. This one we're going to since there is so many trailers and things to watch and talk about, we're going to kind of just run through all of these episodes that we'll talk about at the end. But we're going to start with episode number 7, The Line. When the Queen of Fables is transferred from her U.S. Master Tax Guidebook prison to Arkham Asylum, Harley frees her so she can join her crew and help them steal a personal force field device from Star Labs. When the Queen slaughters an innocent family who witnessed them, however, the horrified crew kicks her out while they're not willing to sacrifice innocent lives. They then use the force field device to steal a weather controlling machine from Cord Industries to ransom Gotham, but the Queen shows up to steal it for herself. They are interrupted by Jason Praxis, a surviving member of the family with electrical powers who seeks revenge on the Queen for their murder. Harley uses the force field device to protect the Queen, subdue Praxis, and get her to leave. Killing Praxis on her way out, however, the Queen tells Harley that only villains willing to cross the line can succeed, and she'll regret letting her live. The crew later tries to program the weather machine, but accidentally causes it to self-destruct. Meanwhile, Ivy starts dating Kite Man, but his idiocy leaves her embarrassed to be around him in public. Episode 8, LODRSVP. After Harley's crew steals Adeline and Jules, they are invited to join the Legion of Doom, and Luthor even allows Psycho to be reinstated. However, he secretly reveals to Ivy that he is not actually interested in Harley and will not let her join unless she joins as well. Ivy refuses and tries to warn Harley of Luthor's treachery. Suddenly, Aquaman breaks into the Hall of Doom and beats up several villains while seeking revenge for Harley's theft, but she tricks him into breaking an aquarium and focus on saving the fish. As thanks, the Legion inducts Harley as an official member. Harley accuses Ivy of lying to her, and they angrily part ways. Meanwhile, Psycho and Borgman deal with mutant monsters in their lair's basement. When Psycho tries to kill it, Borgman stops him, revealing the monster is his sister, Marielle, who was mutated because of his actions. Psycho uses his powers to let the siblings communicate and reconcile, but Marielle is released into the streets and goes on a rampage. The next day, Harley and her crew, minus Ivy, go to the Hall of Doom, only to encounter the Joker. Episode 9, A Seat at the Table. Much to Harley's surprise, the Joker congratulates her on joining the Legion of Doom, treating her as an equal. Harley reconciles with Ivy and promises to help her attack an environmentally unfriendly company called Planet-Wide Pavers. However, her crew retreated as lowly henchmen, and Bane hires them to help get revenge on a clerk for always getting his name wrong, which is just great. Harley attends a dinner date with the Joker to try to persuade him to convince Luthor to elevate her crew's status, but she has so much fun with him she forgets to tell him. While planning a bomb for Bane, King Shark ends up being hospitalized after the former loses patience and detonates the bomb early. When Batman pursues them, Joker kisses Harley before shoving her out of his helicopter to slow the Dark Knight down. While the crew and Ivy stand vigil over King Shark in the hospital, they see an out-of-context image of the Joker and Harley kissing on the news. When Harley arrives, they accuse her of taking advantage of them and cut ties with her. Later that night, Ivy tries to attack Planet-Wide Papers by herself, but gets captured. Episode 10, Bensonhurst. Depressed over her crew abandoning her, Harley returns home to her parents in Bensonhurst, Brooklyn, but quickly becomes upset with her deadbeat father. Later that night, an assassin attacks them and kills Harley's grandmother before she defeats her. Her father claims he owes a loan shark money, so Harley beats him and his goons to force him to leave her father alone. Meanwhile, Ivy finds herself trapped in a laboratory, but manages to use a dandelion to tell her sentient plant Frank to get Harley's help before learning that the Scarecrow is her captor. Another assassin attacks and kills Harley's grandfather before she defeats her. Suddenly, her parents attack her, explaining that someone put a bounty on her and they want revenge because her reputation as a supervillain turned them into neighborhood pariahs. An enraged Harley defeats them before sparing and disowning them. Just as Harley collapses from her injuries, Frank finds her and tells her Ivy is in trouble. Elsewhere, Bane discovers that Joshua Cobblepot put the bounty on Harley as revenge for ruining his bar mitzvah and berates him for using a traceable credit card before destroying it to cancel the bounty. A lot to take in there. Episode 11, Harley Quinn Highway. Harley reunites her crew to apologize and request help in rescuing Ivy. They agree, but only for Ivy's sake. Meanwhile, the Scarecrow harvests Ivy's pheromones so he can use them to destroy Gotham before poisoning her with his fear toxin. Sending her into a panic, while Borgman protects their bodies, Psycho brings the crew into Ivy's head, where Frank informs them that the only way to save Ivy is to destroy the thing she fears the most, which appears in the form of the Grim Reaper. Harley defeats the Reaper but sees her face under the hood before she and the crew wake up. The Scarecrow tries to escape on the Harley Quinn highway, but Borgman transforms into a car so the crew can give chase. Amid said chase, Ivy tells Harley her fear is being abandoned by someone she trusted and that she resents for her being with the Joker instead of helping her. Harley attempts to make amends by stopping the Scarecrow, but he succeeds in poisoning the Gotham reservoir and infecting the city's water supply with Ivy's pheromones, turning most of the Gotham's trees into violent monsters. So these last 3 episodes, I had to watch like back to back to back, just because I left on those big cliffhangers, and I would have been mad if I was watching it live as they were.
Absolutely.
Episode 12, Devil's Snare. The Scarecrow starts crop dusting Fury toxin around Gotham's perimeter to force thousands of civilians towards the park with the murderous trees. As Batman tracks him down, the Justice League arrives to stop the trees. They assume Harley's crew is behind the attacks and attempts to send them into the Phantom Zone, but Ivy uses Wonder Woman's lasso of truth to prove them wrong. Suddenly, the Queen of Fables traps the League in her fairy tale book before using a beanstalk to send Harley and her crew to be attacked by a giant Cyclops. With Kite Man's help, they are able to return to the ground safely. Just then, the Joker uses a large tower to destroy the Hall of Doom as he enacts his plans to take over the Gotham and orders the Queen to kill Harley and her team. Ivy uses the contaminated water to enlarge herself and fight the trees while Harley defeats the Queen, decapitating her in the process. Just as Harley makes amends with Ivy, the Joker kills the latter. Episode 13, The Final Joke. Harley's crew, Frank, and Kite Man hold an impromptu funeral for Ivy before joining forces with Batman to avenge her. However, Clayface inadvertently ruins the plans and gets the crew and Batman captured while Harley is forced into hiding. His takeover largely complete, the Joker spends the next week subjugating Gotham and torturing Batman and the crew, only to get bored. Hoping to help the Scarecrow unmask Batman, but Joker kills the former for ruining the mystery. I mean, this episode was full of unexpected deaths we weren't expecting. Meanwhile, Harley revisits Ivy's grave where Frank and Kite Man tell her the crew is going to be publicly executed, so she surrenders herself in exchange for their lives. Once her crew is safe, Harley tries to kill the Joker, but he overpowers her. Instead of killing her, he decides to drop her an acid that will render her normal. At the last minute, a resurrected Ivy saves Harley, drops the Joker in the acid, though not before he destroys his tower and sets off an earthquake, destroying Gotham. Batman saves Harley and Ivy before disappearing into the debris. Reunited, the crew reflect on everything that's happened amidst Gotham's ruin, while a normal Joker emerges from the rubble. I mean, there's a lot to take in here for this end of the season, and I'm with you right there. I really enjoyed the last half of the season, even more than the first half, and that's saying a lot because, again, we enjoyed the first half of the season a lot. But trapping the Justice League and the Phantoms, not the Phantom, and the book, and the Grimoire, and the Tales book is funny. We've got a normal Joker. Gotham is no more. I mean, it's just rubble and a fiery mess as we leave this. And I guess Poison Ivy can't die. So that's new.
And also, despite Gotham being rubble, Jim Gordon's marriage is good now. So
yeah, they're better. So I mean, that's the more important thing here.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny with Joker seeing Batman and him seeing Bruce Wayne as Batman. And he said, "I invested in the electric cars that Wayne Tech was supposed to release this year. Where is my electric car, Bruce?" That's just so stupid because I invested in it and it's not here.
And how he threw a fit when Scarecrow unmasked.
Mm-hmm. He says the whole point of Mystery, I don't care who he is. Yeah. And kills him. I'm like, well, there goes Raiho Coley for the show. So I appreciate your episodes.
I liked how they let the city council or whoever of Gotham let Harley Quinn design Harley Quinn Highway.
Right.
And it's got sections missing. You got to jump over.
It's like a Hot Wheels track. And
yeah. It's crazy.
What a fun time that had to be. Oh, man.
But yeah, it was good. It was it's still, I'll catch myself now. I'm so used to hearing her voice Harley Quinn as normal that when she goes into that accent that we're used to Harley Quinn having, it's kind of jarring.
Yeah.
I don't know why she drops in and out of it like she does.
They've got to be directing her to do that, but I don't know what the reason is. Maybe that's when she's psychotic. She speaks that way.
Maybe. In
a sense, like her different personalities, I guess. But I'm not sure. Another thing I really liked was Kite Man and Ivy's relationship, and Harley Quinn finding that out as they're doing all this and fighting is just really funny to me too. She's like, how do you know his number memorized? Did he call you babe? It's just some of the funny stuff like that.
Well, and they teased early in the season putting Harley and Ivy together. You know, and they still kind of have been teasing that with the jealousy and all that. But I don't know, Kite Man, he's different.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite characters, though.
Yeah, the whole reservation scene. You And Riddler walks in and gets a table right away, and Kite Man he's like, "What's the point of making a reservation if I have to wait 40 minutes?"
Right, which is a very valid point. I mean, what's the
Yeah,
point?
I mean, doesn't make any sense. But I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward when we get a shot to do so to checking out season 2.
hmm
Um, but it might be a little bit.
I think it's going to be until what, maybe January, February, because we'll have Titans for November, and then
Doom Patrol.
Doom Patrol in December. So I mean, like I even think those are going to overlap at some point.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm like,
Yeah.
well, we'll come back to you eventually, Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Just
But
hopefully
we
not too
will
long.
come back to
Yeah.
it because we've got 2 more seasons to watch. So.
Yes, I can't wait. And speaking of seasons, Chris, we've had a lot of news, a lot of good DC news this week. We had that big DC movie drops and series and things like last week we talked about. But this week I got something new for you. HBO Max's Green Lantern series is still in development, but it's now going to be focused on Jon Stewart. I'm going to HollywoodReporter.com by Leslie Goldberg
Of The Daily Show?
of The Daily Show. HBO Max's long gestating Green Lantern TV series is changing gears. The drama, which has been in the works since late 2019, will now focus on Jon Stewart, one of DC's first black superheroes. The series from executive producer Greg Berlanti was to originally have involved around Guy Gardner and Alan Scott, and had already cast Finn Wittrock and Jeremy Irvine as the respective Green Lanterns. I didn't even know that. As part of the creative overhaul, writer and showrunner Seth Grahame-Smith has departed the series after completing scripts for a full season of 8 episodes. Sources say Grahame-Smith, who signed on as writer and showrunner a year after Green Lantern was announced, chose to leave the project after weathering a number of regime changes at HBO Max, its parent company, Warner Bros. Discovery producers, Warner Bros. Television, and now DC Comics. So,
Yep.
I'm like, well, I mean,
Here's what I don't get, right? We kind of touched on this last episode. You've got this regime change coming,
mm-hmm.
and they keep pushing forward. Just cancel the projects
Right.
and say, we're going to let these guys put their stamp on it
Mm-hmm.
and relaunch it. Because why would I invest myself in this?
Because they still don't know. I don't even think they knew. Because I mean, this news came out before the new duo has taken over DC.
But they knew that there was going to be someone
right.
in charge.
So I mean, put a pause on everything, and put a pause on all your accounts. Don't spend any more money. Don't do any more project work, and just say until we get the final green light, this is what's going to happen. But
so they've already paid all parties involved.
Yep.
To do the original vision for Green Lantern. I'm sure Finn Wittrock got some money because he had to clear his schedule to be involved in it. Now you're flushing that money down the toilet and paying new people to do this, but yet it was too much of a gamble to release Batgirl.
That's already done. That still could make you money. I wonder if James Gunn. Oh, I don't want to spoil it. No future spoilers. But I'm wondering if the new duo is going to see. That's going to be like their first thing. Like, no, we're releasing Batgirl. It's even if it gets on just on HBO Max, there's you some money that way. So and you could get that hype back into it, and they're like, okay, as our first act, we're releasing this. This is done. Why are we just holding on to it? And that would get them a lot of goodwill.
I don't remember what it cost. I want to say it was something like 40-some million.
Right.
I think. So right now you're taking a loss of 40-some million dollars, as opposed to releasing it where maybe you make half that back.
Yeah, at least you make some sort of gain.
Right. You minimize those losses. It just doesn't make sense. I don't know.
Yeah, blows my mind though.
I think we're going to have more news in the coming weeks and months of project cancellations because they don't fit with what the new folks want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of this is just, we'll see.
I'm curious. We'll see how they work with it all. Speaking of DC, I'm going to do this story instead of the next one. Henry Cavill is out for The Witcher, and I'm going to tvline.com and this is by Ryan Schwartz and Nick Caruso. This dropped yesterday, right before the party, and still don't know how I feel about it. Netflix on Saturday announced that the fantasy drama has been renewed for a season 4, at which point series star Henry Cavill will depart the role of Geralt of Rivia and hand his swords over to Hunger Games veteran Liam Hemsworth. Henry Cavill went to Instagram to post on his Instagram, quote, "My journey as Geralt of Rivia has been filled with both monsters and adventures, and alas, I'll be laying down my medallion and my swords for season 4. In my stead, the fantastic Mr. Liam Hemsworth will be taking up the mantle of the White Wolf. As with the greatest of literary characters, I pass the torch with reverence for the time spent embodying Geralt and the enthusiasm to see Liam's take on the most fascinating and nuanced of men. Liam, good sir, this character has such a wonderful depth to him. Enjoy diving in and see what you can find." Liam Hemsworth went on to say in that post, "As a Witcher fan, I'm over the moon about the opportunity to play Geralt of Rivia. Henry Cavill has been an incredible Geralt, and I'm honored that he's handing me the reins and allowing me to take up the White Wolf's blades for the next chapter of his adventure. Henry, I've been a fan of yours for years and was inspired by what you brought to this beloved character. I may have some big boots to fill, but I'm truly excited for stepping into the Witcher world."
Yep. It's amazing is here we see an example of a peaceful transfer of power.
Yes. But I don't like this. I mean,
No.
because Henry Cavill is a great character and everything, and I love The Witcher. He loves The Witcher. He's played the games. He's read the books. He stays, true to the source material when he's playing this role, and he's even been on record to make changes to the scenes because he's like, no. That's not how the book is, and that's not what Geralt will do. He said, so we're going to have to change this around. And I don't know if you're going to have that with Liam Hemsworth. But people, the 4th season might be it, though, which would suck. But, I mean, your star is walking away. So,
but there's good news. We'll put a pin in The Witcher and come back to it later.
It's a double-sided coin. So, we'll see with Henry Cavill. All right. Our first trailer for the day is the Santa Clauses trailer, which will be releasing on November 16th. We finally got it. One of my favorite Christmas movies is the Santa Claus series, and I can't wait for this. So we are going to transition around. Sorry, video watchers, but we are changing things around real quick. Or audio listeners. It's loading. All right. Go live with it.
There it is. Two little dots dancing on the screen.
Yeah, it's going to pull up. I'm going to do this. So it's got me and you pictured. There we are. All right. And you can see the screen here.
Yes.
All right. Here we go.
'Twas the night before Christmas.
I like
and
it already.
All through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The
Stockings were hung by the chimney with care in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there.
Come down. No.
Who are you?
I'm Santa Claus. It's different out there. All those kids turned into adults. They stopped believing and losing magic. So, for the good of Christmas, I'm retiring.
Wow, I didn't even know you could do that.
I think
Same
we see
actor
what the
from the
rest of the
first
world's
three.
Like, as normal people.
I'm making a list of things I want to do, like meet a crossing guard.
Wow.
Dad!
Sandra, they warned you this is what I look like here. It's Dad, me. I'll have a Funicino. Put cocoa in it instead of coffee. Put a little peppermint in there if you have that. Chop up some cookies and sprinkles.
Name for the order?
Santa.
Sir, my job is hard enough.
Ho. For the first time, I'm going to spend Christmas with my family.
New Santa is destroying Christmas spirit. When the last of the light goes out, it could be the end of Christmas.
I retired too soon. I hired the wrong guy. I've got to go back to the North Pole. Elves are disappearing.
Elves are disappearing? You should have led with that. We're going.
Are you seeing this?
Christmas is in trouble. Let's go. Now we're getting somewhere.
Love Sam Bernard.
Yeah.
So it's probably I think it's the fourth time I watched that trailer. The first time I cried. I did tear up. So I am going to admit that. Really excited for this. Tim Allen's not the best political wise, but everyone's entitled to their opinion as long as you're not a racist asshole. So,
right. And
luckily he's not. He's just a certain fan of somebody. But I'm really excited about this. We see two new kids, which he did not have in the third movie. So, and I am excited. I'm all about it.
Yeah. It looks like it's going to be good. Elizabeth Mitchell there as Mrs. Claus.
Mm-hmm. Still looks great.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm curious how the whole thing's going to play out as far as the wrong Santa, and is it the wrong Santa because he just doesn't know what he's doing, or did he have nefarious plans from the get-go?
Well, they didn't even show who the new Santa is either.
No.
But that one actor that was in it, like 2 scenes, I think he's going to be the new Santa Claus.
It's probably going to be Kanye West.
Oh, God. He's going to lose it all.
Yeah. He's already started losing it.
Yeah, he's already gone down the wrong track there. So that was the Santa Claus's trailer. Our last news story for TV is we're getting a new MCU show. I'm going to Deadline.com by Nelly Andriva. Also, this was a big Saturday for all this news that happened. A second WandaVision spin-off series focusing on Paul Bettany's vision is officially in the works at Marvel Studios, sources tell Deadline. Titled Vision Quest, the potential series, which is opening a writer's room next week, will be about the Vision trying to regain his memory and humanity. While the focus is on Vision, word is there's a possibility for Wanda Maximoff to appear, which would make sense given how interconnected the two characters' stories are in the MCU. Like with the other WandaVision spin-off, the green-lighted series Agatha House of Harkness, headlined by Kathryn Hahn, Vision Quest is overseen by WandaVision creator, writer, and executive producer Jack Schaefer. Reps from Marvel Studios and Bettany declined to comment. What are your thoughts on that?
I like it. I'm wondering, trying to regain his humanity. Is that going to place this after WandaVision?
Yeah, I think it's probably going to be a direct sequel to that.
The White Vision.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll get to see him.
Because we know he's got his memories. He just doesn't have, I guess, that emotion to it. So I'm curious. And is it going to be in between WandaVision and Multiverse of Madness, or is it going to be after everything in the timeline? But they're still not even in the writer's room yet, so they don't even know at this point.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it would have to be after Multiverse of Madness, right? Because she didn't have Vision in her life at that point.
True. And she's, quote unquote, dead at this point. So.
I wonder if that's how we find out she's alive. She comes back.
Yeah, at the end.
Maybe she senses Vision.
And gets brought back to life. Yeah. She just can't die at this point. Releases this week. We're heading into November. Thursday, November 3rd, Blockbuster launches on Netflix. Thursday, November 3rd, the new season of Dragon Prince drops on Netflix. Thursday, November 3rd, Titans Season 4 on HBO Max. And Friday, November 4th, the new season of Young Rock premieres on NBC. And ladies and gentlemen, that is it for your TV news this week.
So let me say this. I am looking forward to Blockbuster on Netflix. Because I used to
Me too.
So I'm curious to see how much of what they put on screen is what the types of things I remember.
So what you're telling me is we need to add it to our list to watch.
I mean, if you want to.
Okay, well, I am adding it right this second.
We can do that.
Blockbuster, Netflix.
We can for sure do that. Because one of the things about working in a video store was not so much the other employees, it was some of the customers that came in.
The characters.
Yeah. Yeah, believe me. It's some for the better and some not so much.
Right. So we'll have some fun stories after we watch that then too.
Yeah. So, did you watch anything else? watched? You mentioned some
We
Halloween.
watched Halloween Town 1 and 2 yesterday before the party with Stella. And they still hold up. A little Disney movie cringy, but that's part of the magic, if you will. No pun intended there.
Yeah. I didn't get a chance to watch any other movies. This has been a horrible October.
I hadn't watched Trick or Treat yet either, and it's one of those.
I've got a lot of stuff I wanted to get to, and with overtime, and it's not been a good month in terms of work-life balance.
Right.
So
I feel exactly the same way, unfortunately.
Now, if they do the same thing to me in December, I might have to, see what's out there. But,
you don't mess with our months,
no, not at all. But what we watched this week, the movie we both did watch, was the 2022 Scream.
And let's do full spoilers for this one.
Okay, it's been out for a minute.
Yeah, it came out in like February, I think, of this year.
Yeah.
So.
So first, I want to run down the plot, and I'll use what's on Wikipedia because I don't want to leave some stuff out, and I know if I try and go by memory, I will. 25 years after Billy Loomis and Stu Macher's killing spree in Woodsboro, high school student Tara Carpenter is home alone when she's attacked by Ghostface and left hospitalized. In Modesto, Tara's estranged older sister Sam Carpenter is informed by Wes Hicks, one of Tara's friends, about the attack. Sam returns to Woodsboro with her boyfriend Richie Kirsch to visit Tara at the hospital, where Sam's reunited with Tara's friend group, Wes, Amber Freeman, and twins Chad and Mindy Meeks Martin. That night, Chad's girlfriend Liv McKenzie's ex-boyfriend Vince Schneider, who is Stu Macher's nephew, is killed by Ghostface. At the hospital, Sam's attacked by Ghostface. After escaping, she tells Tara that she's been dealing with hallucinations of Billy Loomis, who Sam learned as a teenager was her biological father. Sam's true parentage resulted in their parents' separation, and this is why Sam became estranged from Tara. Quick point here. If you take Sam and give her biological father's last name of Loomis, you have the name of Donald Pleasance's character from the Halloween movies.
Isn't it great?
Yeah.
There's a lot of little homages and stuff like that.
Yeah, there is. Sam and Richie visit Dewey Riley, Dewey's back, who is divorced from Gail Weathers. They ask for his help in stopping the killer, and he contacts Gail and Sidney Prescott, warning them about the return of Ghostface. It's funny, he texts Gail, and she gets mad at him later because how could you send me that in a text? Dewey joins them at Mindy and Chad's home and is reunited with the twins' mother, Mara, Randy Meeks' sister. With the three attacks being on people related in some capacity to the original killers, Mindy deduces the killer is following the rules of a requel, a continuation of a narrative that derives heavily from the plot of the original while using Tara and her friends as the new generation, and using Sam's connection to Billy Loomis as a way to weave the legacy characters. Ghostface then murders Wes and his mother, Sheriff Judy Hicks, at their home. There, Dewey reunites with Gail, who has arrived in town to cover the story. At the hospital, Tara and Richie are attacked by Ghostface, but are saved by Dewey and Sam. Dewey is killed when he attempts to finish off Ghostface.
That was a heartbreaker.
Yeah, and brutally done.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it was great. Even the Ghostface said, "It's been an honor to kill you." And I was like, "Oh, yes, I'm sure it is."
Yeah, I'm sure he didn't feel any better about it though.
Right.
Sidney arrives in town after learning of Dewey's death and meets both Gail and Sam at the hospital. Sidney asks Sam to help stop the killer, but Sam declines, choosing to leave town with Richie and Tara. Sidney and Gail follow the trio to Amber's, which is revealed to be Stu's former home where the original Woodsboro massacre took place. While a party is in progress to honor Wes's memory, Chad and Mindy are both attacked by Ghostface. As the friend group convenes, Amber pulls out a gun and shoots Liv in the head, revealing herself as Ghostface. Sidney and Gail arrive, and Richie's revealed as Tara's attacker and Amber's accomplice. He stabs Sam, and he and Amber take Sam, Sidney, and Gail into the kitchen, where Sydney had first faced off against Billy and Stu. Richie and Amber reveal they're fans of the Stab film series who met online. Disappointed in the trajectory taken with the most recent Stab 8, they decide to embark on a new killing spree, bringing back the original cast to provide new and improved source material for a future requel, Stab film, and intend to frame Sam as the killer. Gale breaks free and shoots Amber, who lands on the stove and is set on fire. That was a great moment.
Wonderful.
Sam is injured but sees another hallucination of Billy, which brings her attention to Amber's abandoned knife. Embracing her paternal heritage, she uses the knife to stab Richie repeatedly before shooting and killing him. A horribly burnt Amber attempts to attack the group again but is shot to death by Tara. Tara and the Meeks twins are loaded into ambulances to be taken to the hospital, and Sam thanks Sydney and Gale for their help. Gale refuses to write about the new murders and give the killers notoriety, opting to write a tribute to Dewey instead. Sam joins Tara in the ambulance, and the night's events are covered in a news report. It was a really good movie. Some of the notables, of course, Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox, and David Arquette are all back. Jack Quaid played Richie.
Wonderful.
Melissa Barrera as Sam. Mikey Madison was Amber Freeman. Jenna Ortega as Tara. Also, we did get Skeet Ulrich back as Billy Loomis.
Did not expect that, by the way.
No. Those are the bigger names. I mean, there's obviously other major characters here. Dylan Monet as Wes Hicks. Wes Hicks, by the way, that character named in honor of Wes Craven. Sonia Amar as Liv, Mason Gooding as Chad, Jasmine Savoy Brown as Mindy. This was a really good. I gave it 4 stars on Letterboxd. I felt like it was strong. I always get worried about these types of films when they years later they want to kind of bring some of the original cast back.
Right.
And think like, oh God, what's this going to be? But they did it well, and you could tell the filmmakers were fans of the original series
and knew what made it good.
Yeah. There were, by the way, some, I think they were uncredited cameos in the film. So at the beginning, after the initial attack scene on Tara, we go to the school and zoom in on the new group of friends, and we hear an announcement from the principal. The principal was played by Drew Barrymore.
Oh, I did not know that.
So they brought her back. There were a couple of lines that were placed in the film after the fact. One of them was at a party scene. One was one of the telephone messages, I think, if I remember right. And that was Matthew Lillard.
No way.
Yeah. So they brought people back to do these little bitty things.
Right.
Which is very, very cool. Dewey does, of course, as I read, Dewey does die. He's stabbed in the gut, and then Ghostface starts pulling the knife upward, just slicing him open, and then puts another knife in his back and just starts lifting up to just cut him right down the middle, and then pulls the knives. There's no surviving it.
Yeah, done.
The fire where Amber falls onto the lit stove and catches fire, that was cool. There were some nice kills here. And I think one of the most effective was Wes's kill, because it's not super violent. He's just stabbed in the neck.
Yeah, I just straight through too. It was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it kind of goes off to the side and comes out the back of that side, and it's almost like it's gonna fillet him open. But it's just it had a great look to it, and so that was a really good one. The performances are really good. They deal really well, especially with Wes leading up to his kill. with the tension.
Mm-hmm.
Every time he opens a door or turns a corner, you're thinking this is it.
They knew
It's
what they
not.
were doing.
Yeah, they've really let that build up until finally they give it to you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the only thing which I did see something online, there were some people questioning, like because it's Amber in the hospital
Yeah.
that kills Dewey, and they were questioning would she have had the strength to
That's
do that
what
tonight.
that's what I was thinking, but I'm like, adrenaline. He's old dude
Crazy.
now. Yeah, crazy.
I
And,
mean, crazy can have great strength.
I mean, just like your adrenaline too. I mean, you're in a life or death situation at that point. You've already been
Yeah,
shot, 4 or 5 times in the chest, and I'll be pumping and ready to go. So I mean, it's fight or
yeah,
flight at that point. So
yeah, yeah. Um, I don't think there was a weak performance in the bunch.
mm-mm.
I mean, everybody played their role well. Um, the effects were good, a lot of practical, which is always good in these sorts of films. You don't want a lot of CGI if you can help it. Um, yeah, I would recommend this one.
I gave this one 4.5 stars. I loved it. Like I really, really loved it. And because we did the original Scream last year, and then coming back to this one this year was really cool. The bits that I really liked were how aware of itself it was, and talking about requels doing this. Like I talked about Halloween, like you can't do certain things without. I just blanked on her name.
Sydney.
No, not Sydney. The from Halloween. Oh, I can't think of her name right now.
Oh, Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis, like they even mentioned that it's like doing Halloween without Jamie Lee Curtis, and so like it was very good and very new. Like they knew what they were doing, and like they weren't just killing just to kill. Every kill was for a reason, very planned out, purposely. And going back to the house was very cool. I thought that was a very nuanced way to do it. Some of the kills in the house were the exact same way that they got killed or stabbed in the first movie, and having everyone come back was really well done. And the whole explanation of requels with stab and stuff like that was so very cool and very spot on and very on the nose. And I absolutely loved this movie.
The only thing that I would say they were 50-50 on in some ways was the use of technology. I don't know of a house, and I could be wrong, but I don't know of a house today that still has a landline.
Yeah, that was very.
It was kind of like,
And they had
really?
several houses with landlines too,
Yeah,
and so like it
yeah,
was very. That was different, but because I think I saw the trailer, it was in the trailer where the smart locks were locking and unlocking with the
uh-huh,
phones. I
yeah,
loved that scene. Like it
yeah.
was just very funny. It was very tension grabbing, and
Uh-huh.
oh
And the
man,
thing is, she was locking it back really quickly, but then you have Ghostface saying, how do you know I didn't already get in
right,
before you locked the door?
so
And then there he
good,
is.
man. And like the way they made everybody suspicious the whole
Yeah,
movie. Like you had no idea. You always know there's going to be two since the first one. Even they talked about there's always two. And I thought they were going to throw us through a twist and like do three this time, but I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad they only did two.
yeah,
And so like I knew Jack was one of the killers, Jack Quaid. So I was watching him. I was like, oh, but he wasn't here. So I was trying to figure out who the other killer was, and I wish I didn't know that Richie was one of the killers, but it's part of life. But
Well, it's kind of like I said to you before we started recording. As soon as I went into it fairly blind, I
mm,
didn't know. I knew who was back. I knew David Arquette,
right,
and I knew they had appeared in the film, but I didn't remember anybody else. So
mm-mm.
as soon as he pops up on screen, I'm like, he's one of the killers.
Yeah, it's too big of a name to
Gotta be.
yeah. And he filmed this directly after season 3 of The Boys.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was right during the pandemic is when they started filming this. And man, and the one of my favorite scenes I think was where the one chick Sam gets stabbed a lot and dies, and then they shoot her a couple more times. And they're like, because, they always come back from the dead unexpectedly. And so she shoots her and kills her. And then here comes, she shot and killed Richie several times. And here comes Sam, half burnt face off and trying to stab everybody. And then Tara kills her. And I was like, that's just so very good. And like, it wasn't even, because I was thinking like jealousy, because I did that one killer, but it turns out he was like nephew of somebody or a great grandson or anyways. And then, but it was just they wanted to redo the films because they didn't want them to ban. And I was like, it's so good. Like, it's a dumb good reason that would actually happen today.
Yeah,
and
you
that's what's
see something
disturbing.
like that.
But man, I loved it. What a good film.
Because traditionally in films like this, you would think Sam would be the one, right? Because Billy Loomis was her
The
father,
child of Billy. Oh,
yeah.
I loved that little part of it. And every time she saw him, I loved seeing Skeet. So I mean, it was just great just to see that. And it was, and right there at the end, or he points to the knife or looks at the knife in her vision, like her, because she's obviously been suffering through seeing him for years because she's on the medicine. Right. And it was just so good. Oh, yeah, loved it.
Really good. It seems like there was another individual that came back in a voice type situation, but I can't recall who it was. But yeah, just really fun watch. Definitely recommend this one.
Yes, I mean it's a good one.
Next week, the one Tyler's been waiting for, Creep Show.
Our last one for the year.
Our last one for the year. We're technically going a week beyond, but
yeah,
I'm not gonna complain.
No, I'm not.
Yeah. So watch that. Tune in. Hear our thoughts. I've seen this before. You have not. So I'm very curious.
So I've got all these Easter eggs. Do you want me to read through all these?
Yeah,
from Scream, because I googled it and there's a lot more than I even think at this point. So obviously the Drew Barrymore opening Scream scene, they paid homage to that. Let's see. Let's keep going. Wes and Amber paid homage to Scream's Grapes. Following Tara's attacks, her friend group came together on the school's campus. The scene mirrored 1996's Scream when Sydney, Billy, Tatum, Stu, and Randy got together at the school to discuss the murders the night prior. Randomly, Tatum and Stu were eating a bag of green grapes during the sequence. As a tribute to this detail, Wes and Amber were seen sharing a bag of the same fruit, or the same scene. Tatum's ashes in Dewey's mobile home. Riley's arc had been on question when it came to his grief for lack thereof for the death of his sister in the original movie. Despite being a core piece of the original cast, Rose McGowan's character was hardly mentioned in the movies that followed. However, Scream finally paid tribute to Tatum by showing a box of her ashes. That was kind of easy to see. Talks about Scream 4. Let's see. Wes's psycho moment, which they did mention, which was very well done, I thought, as well there. That's from 4. Let's see, Gail's red outfit. Gail Weathers has been known to wear bright colored outfits while on the job as a TV journalist, especially in the original. Aside from a highlighter yellow power suit, Gail wore various bright red outfits. As a callback to Gail's 90s style, Courtney Cox wore an eye-popping red suit when she made her grand return to Woodsboro, reuniting with her ex-husband, Dewey. They talked about, a lot of it come from Scream 4, obviously it was the movie before. Amber Quentin Tarantino's death. Before starring as Amber Freeman, who happened to be one of the Ghostface killers, Mikey Madison appeared in Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood as Susan Sadie Atkins, a member of the infamous Manson family. In Tarantino's movie, Sadie was killed from being burned alive. Coincidentally, Amber also gets severe burns in 2022's Scream. We talked about the Wes Craven one already, and that's not as many as I thought it was. That's not what I thought it was. I'm going to have to go back through and read them all, because those are really interesting. So, good stuff.
Word. All right. Are you all set for this first bit of movie news?
I am.
So, we have the Ant-Man and Wasp Quantum Mania trailer. This film releases February 17th, 2023. Kevin Feige wanted to give me a birthday present. My birthday's on the 16th. He's like, "What do you want?" I said, "Man, it'd be great if I could get that film like at or near my birthday."
Right.
He's like, "I'll make it happen."
It's a done deal.
Yeah. Change the calendar around and everything, and here we are.
And let's watch the first trailer, Chris. I'm excited.
Okay.
You've seen both of these trailers coming up, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I used to ask myself a lot of questions. Scott, you're an ex-con.
I love Paul Rudd.
How are you an Avenger?
I
That
don't
doesn't
see the
make
screen.
sense.
I don't see
Oh.
your screen.
But everywhere I go,
Well, let's see. Let me stop streaming. Let's try again. Is it popped up now?
It's showing up as watch stream. Let me see if I click it. Okay, there. I had to click it.
Oh,
There we go.
well, you know.
You're asking a lot of
I used to ask myself a lot of questions.
I just love Paul Rudd. I'll repeat my comment there.
How are you an Avenger?
Uh-huh.
That doesn't make sense. But everywhere I go, people tell me the same thing.
Thank you, Spider-Man.
People still need help, Dad. That's why we made this. It's like a satellite for deep space, but quanta.
Wait a minute. You're sending a signal down to the quantum realm. Turn it off. Now!
I wonder if that's the same scene. Or if there's something happened and then comes back. Dude, it looks great. Like, absolutely beautiful.
It's a secret universe beneath ours.
What are you so afraid of?
There's something I never told you.
This place,
Everyone says those are like the rings from Shang-Chi.
it isn't what you think. I can get you home. And give you more time. If you help me. So, what's it gonna be? Ant-Man.
God, I can't wait. I love Jonathan Majors.
Uh-huh.
It's going to be a good movie. Like, I'm more excited. I know we talked about this last night. I'm more excited now than I was originally going into it. And considering this is setting off Phase 5, I'm like, yeah, we're going to get some fun stuff with Kang and the quantum realm and everything. Because this is a whole new world it's been touched on. And we've kind of seen in previous movies. But, like, we're exploring a whole new place now. So.
Right. Yeah. It looks really good. Yeah, I think the rings, the 10 rings, and the gauntlet, right, of Miss Marvel, I think are going to be certainly are connected. So we'll see.
Kang's crazy, and I can't wait to see what he does. What's our next one, Chris?
Oh yeah, we're doing a show. The first trailer for Guardians of the Galaxy's holiday special is here. That comes out November the 25th on Disney Plus. Let's watch it.
And you know, with watching Werewolf by Night, I'm really high on the special presentation that Marvel Studios are doing first season, you know. And Guardians of the Galaxy is not going to be, you know, it's not indifferent. I'm excited, so.
The just saw on the calendar that right now on Earth it's almost Christmas time.
We don't have time for trivialities like Christmas.
But Peter's so sad about Gamora being gone. Maybe if we go to Earth for a really wonderful Christmas gift, it would make him happy. Something special he will never forget.
What about
Adult Groot again?
We're looking for the legendary Kevin Bacon.
We're looking for the legendary Kevin Bacon.
I just said that, Drax.
Your voice is small and mousy. I think maybe he didn't hear you. Ah! You're coming with us as a Christmas present. I'm Groot.
Introducing Kevin Bacon.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's Thanksgiving Day. So I mean,
yeah.
Oh,
That's going to get a lot of views coming out right then.
yes, it is. Man, I'm super excited about it. And it's got like that perfect Christmas vibe to it too. I feel like as well. So,
That's going to be the next to last time that we see Batista as Drax. So, all right. There's no way to just casually go into this. It's, here we go. The Hollywood Reporter reporting. This is from Boris Kitt and Aaron Couch. Story so big it took two people to put it together.
mm-hmm.
DC shocker. James Gunn, Peter Safran to lead film, TV, and animation division. This was an exclusive to the Hollywood Reporter. Says the duo will report to David Zaslav and assume the title of co-chairs and co-CEOs of DC Studios.
They found him, Chris. They finally found him.
They found him. Now, we thought they found him before, and then
Right.
a week later it was over. But in a stunning turn of events, filmmaker James Gunn and producer Peter Safran have been tapped to lead DC's film, TV, and animation efforts as co-chairs and co-CEOs of DC Studios, a newly formed division at Warner Brothers that will replace DC Films. The unprecedented move in which a top director will assume a top executive post marks the end of a months-long search by Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav to replace DC Films boss Walter Hamada, who departed the studio last week. That search had all of Hollywood guessing and playing executive bingo for who would land one of the most coveted and challenging jobs in town. They talk about They talk about them meeting on the Warner Brothers lot over the past week or in recent weeks. It says the initial overture came from Michael DeLuca over the summer, even as the studio was in shaky talks with producer Dan Land to take the job. Kind of wonder if Dan Land heard about that and was like, well,
Yeah.
you're still talking to other people. I'm out. It does note Gunn will focus on the creative side of things while Safran will focus on the business and production side. Both are expected to continue to direct and produce projects respectively. They will report directly to Zaslav and work closely with Warner film bosses DeLuca and Pamela Abdy. Sources say the deal runs 4 years. Gunn will be exclusive to DC. The goal is for them not just to be producers, but truly function as executives, even as Gunn will occasionally helm a movie.
Oh, I didn't even know that last bit.
This next note too says unlike Marvel Studios, DC has multiple films set in separate creative universes, and according to sources, Joker filmmaker Todd Phillips' work on the upcoming sequel, which goes into production later this year, will not fall under Gunn and Safran's purview, and instead will be overseen by DeLuca and Abdy. Matt Reeves, who worked under Hamada, has a budding universe based on the Batman movie. It's unclear under whose purview Reeves' future projects would fall, but everything else moving forward would be under Gunn and Safran.
Interesting. So, I mean, that means everything. Like they made specific note to mention Joker and the Batman stuff, but nothing else. So
no.
Interesting.
I'm very curious then, because it's like we were talking about earlier with the Green Lantern project.
Mm-hmm.
That would mean that's going to fall under them,
Right? Which I think,
right.
with Safran doing the business side of things and James Gunn doing creative, I think this is like a banging duo right here. And I think we're finally going to see DC do great things. I mean, we've got James Gunn doing Peacemaker, Suicide Squad, and both of those being big hits. So I'm like, I mean, Peacemaker it could be arguably the biggest of the hits between those two. But I mean, I don't know. This is great, and I'm very excited for the future of it all.
Well, following on the heels of that announcement, Deadline ran an article by Matt Grober, Rosie Cordero, and Bruce Herring.
Good Lord.
Yeah, 3 people to work on
right.
Got to keep people working.
Right.
Kevin Feige on James Gunn joining DC, quote, "I'll be first in line to see anything he does," end quote. Says Marvel President CCO Kevin Feige isn't bothered that one of his most valuable employees is going to work for the competition. Caught on the Black Panther Wakanda Forever red carpet by Deadline, Feige gave his thoughts on James Gunn's new job as co-chairman and co-CEO of DC Studios. He said, well, he's got a lot of work to do for Marvel between now and May, which he's well aware of. But after that, I'll be first in line to see anything he does. Gunn has Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 coming up, as well as a Guardians Holiday Special. He and DC Films producer Peter Safran were named co-chairman and CEOs of DC Studios this week, overseeing the overall creative direction of the DC universe across film, TV, and animation under a single banner. They start the new job November 1st.
I didn't even know that either. So they start Tuesday.
But according to Feige, Gunn is involved with stuff through May,
which is the Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Yeah, so I'm assuming it's just going to be promotional stuff.
Probably. It'd be just wrapped up with that.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I didn't realize. So Tuesday, November 1st, is when they start taking over. I wonder when we start getting news about, I could say probably as early as Friday. They get in, see what's really going on. And I'm telling you, Chris, I can really see them going, I don't know, Batgirl's done. Let's get that out. Why would we shelf that? Let's get this out. Let's get some sort of money going.
Right.
So, and that builds goodwill with them too, because like, oh, they canceled Batgirl. Oh, well, now they're taking over. They're giving us what we want. So.
Right. And they can make clear it's not going to be part of things going forward.
Right.
But here it is. I get that there are things people like about DC. There's things I like about it. When we saw the universe falling apart, we both commented about how are you going to find a better Wonder Woman than you've already got? How are you going to find a better Aquaman?
How are you going to find a better Superman, Chris? Unpin it. Unpin the Witcher's comments.
But it's just, if I'm them coming in, especially Gunn, he's got his vision.
Yep.
For what he wants. I'm blowing it up. I'm like, we're not going to continue this and have the waters muddied with what was this continuate. We're going to make very clear this is a new direction. And that means you got to, maybe you allow yourself to do what Marvel's doing with some of the Netflix series from the past and keep the same characters.
Right.
In certain situations. But you've got to basically, I would think you've got to disavow everything that came before and say they were nice stories. They kept people entertained, but this is where we're going. And if these folks want to be along for the ride, we're starting over.
Yeah, this is the future.
Yeah.
And this is what makes me think with Henry Cavill being out as The Witcher. So spoilers, if no one's seen Black Adam or seen the the spoilers and things like that, the post-credit scene has got Henry Cavill as Superman again at the end. And this has got everyone thinking, with him not being the Witcher anymore, that it's because he's taking on a bigger role and going back as Superman for the DC and coming back to it.
Well, it's either that or they're making 15 more Enola Holmes movies.
Which
So
again,
I'd be okay with that.
It's a win-win, really.
I don't think that's the case.
Right. You never know though, Chris. I mean, who knows?
Maybe a couple more.
But I wish he could do both, and I really do think it's because DC is starting to take over, because this news is all too convenient.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Because you have them in Black Adam last week, have the the James Gunn stuff this week, and then The Witcher comes out and says all that. And it's just kind of too coincidental.
It makes me wonder if because correct me if I'm wrong, he was walking away from Superman.
Correct.
He was like,
He's always said he wanted to keep doing it, but it just had to be right. And I wonder if it's right now.
I wonder if it was the working relationships with people in charge that
Yeah.
made it difficult.
So we will see if that's true or not. But I expect some real big DC news in the next couple of weeks, if not the next month. It was once James and what's his name, Safran get in, I think they're going to look at everything and say, let's keep this, and this, scrap this, and this is what we're doing going forward, and we're going to hear about all the news. So, again, as early as this Friday. So.
Yeah, I agree. Releases this week, just one of note. November 4th in cinemas, Amsterdam.
That's on the list eventually to watch whenever it comes to streaming.
Yeah. And now, on to games.
Chris,
you'll hear more about The Witcher.
It's been a Witcher heavy week. Every segment we've knocked. You been playing anything crazy this week?
You got me into Marvel Snap.
Again, it's highly addicting.
It's always good because you can play it on the phone, just doing whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You can drop in for a quick game. Takes all of maybe 3 or 4 minutes, and then boom, you're out. You're done. I'm still playing my normal stuff. I did, however, kind of come to a decision this week that this is going to be the last year that I play Ultimate Team.
Really?
They've lost me. Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
There's too much, and I get why, because they took half the MUT team and half the franchise team, and they've moved them to college football.
Right.
To get that ready. But there are so many things that are... You always have bugs with games. But there are so many bugs and so many things breaking them because they don't have the staff still in place. They can't fix them in a timely manner.
So it's kind of giving up.
But then on top of that, the community has started to notice that when there's something that breaks that favors the community, they get it fixed within a day. But if it hurts the community and helps them, it just goes weeks and weeks and weeks. So I'll still buy Madden, but I'll do a franchise. I'm not going to buy the top edition anymore because I'm not going to be playing MUT. So
that's unfortunate.
I'm going to be a Diamond Dynasty guy and a Madden franchise. And of course, the college game will come out, so I'll play their.
That college game's gonna be nuts. The Vanderbilt's finally gonna be a top tier team.
Tyler's gonna make Mandy a national champion.
They're gonna do what UT's doing now, and just dominate and take over. I've still been playing the Halloween Festival of the Lost for Destiny. I'm 15 matches away from being done with it finally. I'm doing it grinding to get a little seal that's in game and stuff like that. And then I started playing Modern Warfare 2 that launched this week for Call of Duty. The campaign, Chris, excellent. Like it's like playing a movie, like a Jack Ryan movie, and it's phenomenal. And it's just really well done. I'm not even halfway. I don't think it's a very short campaign, but I'm not even halfway. But multiplayer is really good. It's one of those I constantly want to jump back into it, but I want to do this Festival of Lost stuff for Destiny, so I could only pay attention to Call of Duty. And I hate doing that. Like, I spent most of the day today doing my Destiny stuff so I could continue to grind out. I just got 15 more matches. After those 15, I'll be done, and I could spend all my time with Call of Duty, but I just have to get there. So, but the news, Chris. CD Projekt Red is making a Witcher remake from the ground up with Unreal Engine 5. Going to TheVerge.com by Ash Parrish. The Witcher series is returning to its roots. CD Projekt Red announced that one of the many new Witcher projects it's working on, which includes a brand new trilogy, is actually a remake of the first game. Dubbed with codename Canis Majoris, which is in line with CD Projekt Red's astronomy-based naming convention. It also means Big Dog, which is a hilarious and accurate way to describe Geralt of Rivia. The Witcher remake is being rebuilt from the ground up utilizing Unreal Engine 5. Quote, "The Witcher is where it all started for us for CG Projekt Red," said studio head Adam Badowski in the announcement. "It was the first game we made ever, and it was a big moment for us then. Going back to this place and remaking the game for the next generation of gamers to experience, it feels as if big, if not bigger. The Witcher remake is being developed by third-party studio Fool's Theory with the assistance of veteran Witcher developers and the supervision of CD Projekt Red." So, exciting news. I've never played any of them but the third one, so...
I saw Alana Pierce talking about this, and she noted that for her, she never really cared for the first game. It didn't connect with her. I think that's how she put it. But she loved the second one. I'm a little bit gun shy because the last thing I put a lot of hope into from CD Projekt Red.
Well, here's where it gets you, is that they're only overseeing it. So it's being developed by third-party studio Fool's Theory with assistance from Witcher developers and the supervision of CG Projekt Red. Yeah. So that makes me a little bit more hopeful for it.
But for all I know, their supervision was the problem with
Cyberpunk. That's a good point as well. So we will see. I think that game is maybe 3 or 4 years out at this point. So if they're just now announcing it.
She was breaking it down, and she said that the good thing about, she said what takes up like 3/4 of a game developer's time is trying to figure out where you're going and how to get there. And she said in this case, because it's a remake, all that's already done.
You just gotta visually upgrade it and do engine and everything. So that's a good point too.
So maybe sooner.
Maybe a couple I hope years. So.
They're kind of missing their window, I think, especially if the show ends after season 4.
Right.
It's like he'll be launching the games as the show goes off the air.
Which would be a weird way to do that, if you ask me.
Yeah, so, very much.
Last thing we've got here, PlayStation Plus's monthly games for November are Neo 2 for PlayStation 5, and then the rest is for everything, which is Lego Harry Potter Collection and Heavenly Bodies, which I believe you get those towards the end of this week, ladies and gentlemen. And that's it. No new releases this week, but we're about to get into the heavy part of the year of November with our monthly releases, and God of War is amongst them, and I can't freaking wait for that game. And reviews dropped this week, and I'm excited to see what they all say. From what I've understood, though, everyone is really high on it. So we'll see what the official word is. But ladies and gentlemen, do it.
Is that the 9th that drops?
It is the...
Am I remembering that right?
Yes, the 9th.
Okay.
Oh, God. It's going to be hard to work. I might work from home that day. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for listening and watching this episode of the Nerdwide Podcast. Don't forget to share on all your favorite social media platforms, and forget to rate and review us whatever podcasting app that you use. If you want to follow us on Twitter, you can follow Nerdwide at nerd_wide. If you want to follow me personally, you can follow at Ty_Haynes. And if you follow Chris, it's at MavTN7. Facebook.com, if you go to the search bar and search in Nerdwide Podcast, Nerdwide.com, we're always the first one that pops up there, so give us a follow there. Those two ways on Twitter. On Facebook is how you know instantly when the episode goes live if you're not subscribed to like a YouTube or podcasting service that way. But guys, that has been this week's episode of the Nerdwide Podcast. We cannot wait to end our Halloween watch-along movie horror film watch-along with Creepshow this week. We all hope you have a great and safe, happy Halloween, and thank you so much for watching this episode. And next week's going to be fun. We got Titans and Creepshow, but we will see you then. Thank you so much for watching.